$2.5 million mansion we're talking about. And when neighbors called police, a rude awakening. They couldn't get them to leave. Dan Harris takes us to the neighborhood.
Boca Raton, Florida, a city synonymous with conspicuous consumption, designer clothing, designer dogs, and bombastic boats. Welcome to the aptly named Golden Harbor Drive, where everybody's backyard is right on the water. Rocking the infinity pool, pretty good look. It is a Tony enclave that not long ago played reluctant host to a strange and uninvited guest. This is it right here. Shortly before Christmas, Mike Avram notices something odd transpiring at a house on his block. This is a sweet house. It is a $2.3 million, 7,500 square foot plus-size palace. The previous owner had money problems, signed it over to Bank of America, and moved out. Now, a stranger is moving in without paying a penny to the bank, and he's not alone. A bunch of guys pull up and move into this beautiful house and tell you they are establishing an embassy.
An embassy with a mission. Their religious ministry. Yeah, they're going to have transient families coming in and out in accord with their ministry.
And your response to this was?
I don't think that's going to fly.
It gets even weirder quickly. The new occupant posts paperwork on the house saying nobody can enter without an invitation and 2 types of ID. On the elaborate forms, the name of the man who now claims ownership, Andre Barbosa. Neighbors Google him right away, and up pops the Facebook page of a 23-year-old Brazilian, an aspiring hip-hop artist who calls himself Loki Boy after the Norse god of mischief. That is when neighbors call 911.
They changed the locks, they put another trespassing sign out, and they're moving in.
All right, I want an officer dispatch as soon as possible.
They called the police on these right here. Squatters. They're just defiant.
The cops show up and speak to Loki Boy, who you can see right there on a neighbor's cell phone video. But here's where what seems like a clear-cut trespassing case gets truly crazy. Loki Boy presents the police with this document, which stops them in their tracks. Loki Boy is claiming something called adverse possession.
The notion is that someone can move on to a property, fix it up, take care of it, and after a period of time, it's their property.
It is an obscure but very real law that is on the books in all 50 states. If Loki Boy stays for 7 years, the mansion is his.
So this kid was pretty clever because he was using language that was very confusing for you and your force. Absolutely.
Thus begins a bizarre stalemate, with Loki Boy occupying the house day after day. Police, prosecutors, and the bank are in a state of confusion and paralysis. In fact, at first, the bank denies even owning the house, which is a lucky break for Loki Boy, who meanwhile is living large, working on a new rap video with the mansion as a backdrop.
Was that frustrating for you?
Very.
More than 4 weeks into this thing, Lynn Houston, a nervous next-door neighbor, has had enough.
I was going to do anything to get rid of him. Anything.
You were willing to buy that house?
Yes.
You were going to take out a mortgage?
No.
Just pay cash?
Yes.
Cash for this house to get this kid out?
Yes.
The neighbor's outraged to find out squatters.
When her phone calls to the bank are not returned, she alerts the media.
Hard to believe, but true story out of Florida.
The story goes national.
This guy is making it his home for free.
Meanwhile, the nervous neighbor is convinced that the nightmare here on Golden Harbor Drive is connected to something much larger.
I believe there's somebody much more important, much higher, much wealthier behind him. Don't know who.
We decide to do some digging. Remember those weird documents Loki Boy posted on the front of the house? There is another name on there, James McBride, who, as we learn, is the founder of a mysterious group called Divine Province.
You can't take back all this property that has been taken from you.
McBride is an ex-con who's done time for cocaine importation and run-ins with the IRS. He says he hasn't paid federal income taxes in 26 years and claims he can teach you how to live like him. McBride is very suspicious of the media, but he agrees to speak exclusively with ABC News.
What is your connection to Andre?
He's a member of the Divine Province.
He says he didn't know in advance about Loki Boy's mansion takeover, but he now supports him fully.
It's lawful to move into a house that's not yours and say, this is mine.
Correct. But there are many other laws McBride feels he and his followers are not subject to. How? He shows me a seal he says was a gift from Pope Benedict himself.
What can you do with this?
It means I can now give orders or issue decrees that the Vatican and the Roman Curia must follow.
Are you saying that you have some sort of papal authority here in North America?
In the globe.
In the globe, correct. So you have primary control of the earth.
Correct.
That seems like a lot of power.
I understand. It is. And a lot of responsibility.
This may sound ridiculous, but the FBI is not laughing. There are an estimated 300,000 people in this country who share some version of McBride's belief that American laws do not apply to them. Some of these people are using tactics like adverse possession to take over vacant homes. This one right here has been claimed by a guy named Paul Delator. We found examples all over South Florida.
All you have to do is file a little bit of paperwork, and bingo, this becomes your backyard.
And it's not just Florida. This is happening all over the country with people moving into empty mansions without paying a dime.
Why did you decide on this house? Why not? It's a beautiful house.
Meanwhile, back on Golden Harbor Drive, fully aware of this situation now, nervous neighbor Lynn Houston once again takes action, hiring off-duty cops to watch Loki Boy's mansion.
Some people are sleeping. Some people can't eat.
Just 2 days later, with media attention reaching a fever pitch, the cops mount a raid.
We showed up here, opened the door, walked in, no one's here.
They haul away Loki Boy's stuff and change the lock. 51 days after it began, the nightmare on Golden Harbor Drive ends with a whimper. Loki's house of cards has tumbled down. He has sneaked off quietly. The home is now back in the hands of its rightful owner, the bank. The neighbors, however, have not heard the last of Loki Boy. Days later, he officially releases this music video where he is seen dancing with his mother against the backdrop of the mansion on Golden Harbor Drive, which, by the way, has now been sold legally.
I think the whole neighborhood feels safer. I feel resolved. We'll sleep better tonight.
If anything good has come out of this ordeal, the neighbors say it's that they've grown much closer. They throw a victory celebration complete with a surprise guest.
Hey, Loki, come on out.
A Loki Boy impersonator. Next, are they just trying to